What's up, guys? UFC 316, just a quick post-fight review. It's going to be a quick, short video because I don't want to get anyone bored. But just for anyone that wants to hear an educated opinion as to how things played out, I'm going to try to do this I don't know if every event, but for sure every pay-per-view, just to see how we did and just my thoughts on how fights played out. Overall, I hit 8 out of 13. But I'm just gonna focus on the main card and maybe just a couple from the other ones. But main event. So Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley, the rematch. I picked Merab Dvalishvili to win by decision. He won by submission round 3. I gave O'Malley a puncher's chance, but because of course he's always gonna have that. But officially, I picked Dvalishvili by decision. If you watch my video on the breakdown, I basically said that it was going to be a repetition of the first fight. And that's kind of like how it was playing out. I had it 2-0 going into the third round, 2018. Merab, round 2 was more competitive than round 1. Some people think O'Malley won round 2. I don't necessarily fully disagree. I can see the argument for it. But personally, I had it 2-0 going to the third round. Yeah, to this day, a lot of people say that the first fight was competitive. And I talked about it on my video, how I don't care if I disagree with the rest of the community. I don't think the first fight was competitive whatsoever. To me, Merab won rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. And O'Malley won round 5. I do admit the round 3 was competitive, where if you want to argue it for O'Malley, sure, even if you give O'Malley 3 and 5, I think 1, 2, and 4 were clearly Merab. And again, round 3 is debatable. So it wasn't a beatdown, the first fight, but I thought it was an overall dominant performance by Dvalishvili. And after what he did to Umar, I just didn't understand how people thought it was competitive and that O'Malley was going to do better here. And like I said, I gave him a puncher's chance, but it was basically a repetition of the first fight, just more dominant. See, O'Malley took him down, pressure, Dvalishvili took him down, the pressure, cage control, didn't let O'Malley let his hands go. That's usually what happens when you have a talented striker that needs space to be able to let his hands go. Someone like Merab's not going to let you do that. So yeah, a lot of pros picking O'Malley to get the upset and get the belt back. Kind of like that's what the UFC wanted. That's why they gave him the immediate rematch, even though to me it wasn't competitive, so an immediate rematch didn't make sense, but whatever. I don't think we'll ever see. As a matter of fact, I think O'Malley might be done ever being champion. I don't see him beating Merab, obviously. I don't think he can handle Umar, and we'll see what happens next. I do agree that Corey Sandhagen should be the next guy to fight for that belt, and if that happens, I'm picking Merab by decision. Before that, Harrison versus Pena, I didn't break that fight down. I picked Harrison by decision. She won by submission round 2, and I think she dominated round 1 as well. But it's whatever. Before that, I believe it was the Kevin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. I picked Joe Pyfer by TKO round 2. He won by decision. However, if you watch my video, I talk about how it could very well be a decision because Kelvin has never been finished. However, on that first round, if you watch the fight, there were moments that it seemed like he was about to get the knockout. Pyfer, he dropped him, 2-3 times? It looked like Kelvin, it was just a matter of time where he was going to get caught with that big shot. And but no, he survived. On my video, I talked about how Kelvin is pretty good at avoiding getting hit with big shots, and you've never really seen him wobble. He's never been TKO'd, he's been submitted. So I knew picking Pyfer by TKO was something that was going to be first time ever. And again, it looked like he was going to go that way, but then Kelvin looked really good towards the round 3. It was unanimous, but yeah, I got that one right. I was hoping he would get a TKO, but no. decision, solid decision for Piper. Before that was Patchy Mix versus Mario Bautista. I picked Patchy to win by decision. He lost by decision. Not only did he lose, but he didn't do shit. If you watch the fight, he didn't do anything. He looked like a punching bag, really. No pressure, no takedown attempts, no desperation to win. He was clearly down 2 rounds going into the 3rd round. And it was like, whatever, well, here I am. I'm losing. I'm getting beat. Whatever. Yeah, second guy from Bellator in just in a couple months to come make their debut in the UFC, and they lose. That's why I always say there's a thing that people say, right? There's UFC level, and then there's everything else. And while there's fighters outside the UFC that are UFC level, there's still that level, right? And it was shown yesterday, because Mario Bautista is not, I don't think he's even a top 10 or a top 5. I just think he might be top 15. I don't know exactly, but I know he's not top 10. And he dominated Patchy Mix, who was a champion at Bellator. So, I mean, that just tells you, look at the level of difference. A guy who's not top 10 dominating the champion of the other organization. But yeah, a letdown for Patchy Mix. I thought that he was going to mix in the grappling, not necessarily get the submission, but the takedowns and the control and the pressure was going to get to Mario Bautista. But no, nothing. And I don't believe in, they say UFC jitters, it's a real thing when you make your debut, but not like this. This was crap. This was like, well, what are you doing here? But yeah, Mario Bautista dominated him. And the first fight was Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. I picked Vicente Luque to win by submission round 2. He lost by submission round 2, like total opposite of what I picked. I didn't see that coming. I thought if Holland was going to be by decision or a TKO. Did not see a submission coming. Yeah, Vicente Luque was not able to do much, really. As a matter of fact, in that first round, he got caught with an elbow that gave him a huge lump, like in kind of like toward the neck, like the back of his head. Holland landed the better strikes. He was not intimidated by Lucas striking or grappling or anything like that, really. I don't remember how they got to the floor, really. I don't know if Holland took him down or somehow they ended up on the floor. But once Holland got a hold of his neck, it was just a matter of seconds where he dominated him. He submitted him. But yeah, Holland needs to stay as a welterweight. This whole back and forth he's not built for middleweight. Hopefully he understands this now. He realizes, okay, if I want any sort of success, I need to remain as a welterweight. So I picked him to beat Gunnar Nelson as an underdog. The previous time he won, I picked him to lose this one as a favorite. I was wrong. So hopefully, we see welterweight Kevin Holland stay at welterweight, and I think he can do really good. And see, as far as the other ones, I thought Spivak won. I might be biased. I might need to rewatch it, but I thought he clearly won round 1. And I thought he did enough round 3 with the takedowns. And he got a takedown that didn't do shit, but at least it was a takedown on a round that was kind of uneventful. So I had it 29-28 Spivak. I thought he won 1 and 3. I thought he did enough on 3 to get it. Waldo won Acosta won round 2 for sure. And Silva versus Van. I picked Silva to win by decision. He got knocked out in the 3rd round. Silva just destroyed him. He dominated every single round. It looked like he was on his way to get a decision, but on that 3rd round, he just beat the guy up. I don't know if Silva is ranked. I would have to look at the rankings, but I think it's time for Van to get someone, maybe not top 10, but whoever is ranked 11 or 12, and if he beats them convincingly, for sure, I think he's ready for a top 10. But that's it, guys. And also, just one more fight. Chaos Williams versus Gustafsson. I picked Chaos Williams by knockout round 1. He got absolutely dominated for 3 rounds. I mean, it was like the most uneventful, boring fight. Basically, Gustafsson closed the distance, clinched against the cage, and just did that for basically 90% of the fight. Chaos William had no answer. And he took the fight on short notice, which is, I'm pretty sure he did, which is, crazy to dominate like that. But anyways, yeah, that was it. 8 out of 13. Next week we got Usman versus Buckley, and it's a pretty good event for free. So, all right, guys, have a good one.